Hello, welcome to Uplift. My name is Reverend Sam Flynn. I'm a staff minister at Vision. I'm glad you're here. Let's start with prayer. And so just knowing that God is all there is, that there is just one life, and that we are here today to relax and to know that indeed in the midst of that one life, there is only the truth of love. And that knowing that, we are here to be with each other in that vision that Spirit calls unity and wholeness and grace, and the givingness of that time to know the truth and the experience and the identity that each one of us calls that vision of grace for each one of us individually and together. And so I know that right here and right now, it is in this time of uplift that we look high to know that it is Spirit's vision for the fullness and richness of each of our lives that are drawn together in these moments to be that divine expression of Spirit, all that we can be right here and right now. And so I know our time together is perfect. I give thanks for it, and I let it be now. And so it is. And so, again, I thank you for being here. I welcome you. And I say those words today because I would like to spend a few minutes talking about that idea of welcome. Excuse me. That's what I'd like to talk about today is welcome and welcoming and being welcomed. And so as I was saying that today, welcome, I'm glad you're here. I thought about everything that I've learned in these few days that I've spent studying the subject. And it's really interesting to think about being welcomed and feeling welcomed and knowing how to do it, or what to consider in helping others feel welcome, and just knowing when I feel welcome. And so, as often happens, I look up the definition of welcome to start with, and what I found to be expressly or freely permitted to have, to do, or to use something. So express and freedom, expressly free to do something, seem to be the trait or the quality that was spread through all of the different aspects of being welcome that I found during all the course of this study. And so what I noticed as well is that welcome can come from with other people, or it can come from being in a space. You know, some spaces feel welcome, more welcoming than others. It can come from being in nature. You know, some places in nature feel very welcome, or some people feel more welcome, say, in a field or by the ocean. Other people feel very invited and welcome in a place of nature. And so sometimes places feel unwelcome or uninviting too. So what I wanted to say about all this is that today I'm going to talk more about feeling welcome and invited with people, with other people, as we relate to other people. And so it's a wide topic and often talked about in different ways. So I'm going to focus today a lot with other people and how we feel in relating to each other. And so first I want to talk about what does it feel like to be welcome? What does it feel like to be invited somewhere? And so just think about that for a second. When you're somewhere and you feel welcomed, you feel appreciated. That's one sense that I have, and that I know a lot of other people, when I've talked to them, have. They feel appreciated, you feel seen, you feel valued. These are all qualities when we feel welcomed in a place. We feel valued, we feel respected, we feel noticed, we feel that we matter, that our opinions are heard. That's a really important one, that we feel heard and noticed and valued. All of these different things when we relate to others. So consider that when you're welcoming someone, that you notice the other person. I found somebody, Robin Hobb, she had a quote that I really liked. There is little in life so reassuring as a genuine welcome. Little in life that's so reassuring than a genuine welcome. So it's really important and it's really helpful to have someone feel like a special person when they're welcomed. So it's to have this at the top of our minds as an important thing to do is to welcome someone. Just welcome them into our lives. It's an important thing, and it's really helpful to put someone at the top of our experience, at the top of their experience, to create a very special moment in someone's life, in our life. Another thing to consider with the topic, there's different levels of welcoming. You can have a very cordial welcome where, how do you do? It's good to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Very sort of level, and I call it business-like. I don't know if that's a good term for you, but I just call it kind of business-like. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad you're here. And then there's the really excited kind that says, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you. The really high-level experience, like that. And so there's different levels of being, I'm so grateful to interact with you, it's like that. So there's different responses to how that feels. The second one, I would be pretty, put off by that a little bit. It's like bowling you over. So people might react differently to different types of welcome. I'm more of a heart person, so I would respond to kind of really feeling tone, kind of, that kind of a welcoming from somebody. But so people just consider that too. People react in different ways to being welcomed somewhere. So being really conscious, I guess my point is to be really conscious to the recipient that you're interacting with and what kind of environment you're in when that's happening, and just creating an environment that will be conducive to what you are intending. So that's a really big part of it too. And so just going on with that sort of consideration, how do you do it? How can you help yourself make other people create a welcoming environment? It's something that's really nice to be conscious of, as again, making these types of situations conscious is a really important part and helpful part of creating a great situation. One thing I found is always helpful and important, especially in this idea of making people welcome, is to look the other person in the eye, really being present with them. You've heard of aspects like being mindful and being present, looking someone in the eye, being really present with them. Like I'm trying to look in the camera right now, and I hope I'm doing that because I'm not with you. But if I look right in the camera, I'm hoping I'm looking straight at you. So that's another important aspect is to express yourself personally to them. So if you're more open, if I'm more open with who I'm introducing myself to, that creates a sense of intimacy. So if I'm expressing my own feelings or how I'm feeling about whatever it is I'm doing, if I'm inviting you to a party, or maybe I'm inviting you to a conference or something, how I'm feeling about it or what I'm doing, or just saying to them, welcome to this experience, or how do you like the flowers in the corner, whatever it might be, just expressing yourself more and being more real and personal with that person helps them feel more comfortable themselves too. An important thing is to bringing someone into the situation and saying, hello, I'm glad you're here, and introducing them to the other people that are present there too. So helping them to feel included in the entire situation. Bringing them into, if it's in a room, you want to invite them in and show them where their place is, where to sit, or how to be, or if there's other people there, introducing them to all the people. Be sure to include everyone. I know sometimes it's easy to, especially if it's a large group, accidentally leave someone out, but really, again, be very conscious about introducing them to the entire experience. Max Eastman, here's another good quote I found. Max Eastman, he says, a smile is the most universal welcome. So be positive about the whole thing. Just be positive, welcoming them in a very positive way. This is something I read, I was really astounded by it. about how we interact with people, when in speaking with some, listen to understand instead of listening to make a reply. And I thought about that for a long time. Think about that. When you listen to someone, are you listening to understand them, or are you listening to make a reply to them? And just pause for a second with that. When you're listening to someone, are you listening to make a reply? Are you listening to actually understand what that other person is saying? It's a really interesting, just pause for that later in the day or some other time. It's a really interesting topic. So again, being with the other person is a very welcoming thing to notice. Another aspect of this is to really know that you can be welcomed. I am someone that can be welcomed. Susan Jeffers writes, "In the sign on your heart, if it says welcome, the love will come pouring in everywhere." So again, it's as we say in Science of Mind and Spirit often, what I believe is what will happen. So if the sign on my heart is welcome, I will begin to be welcomed everywhere. And so having respect for yourself, being esteemed, having high regard for yourself, feeling that I can be welcomed, that you and I can be welcomed. So then this is what we'll create for ourselves, places that we'll be welcomed. So if I believe this is going to happen, it will. Hear that all the time in Science of Mind and Spirit, right? So Ernest Holmes said, and this is one of the most important things that I'd like to tell you today. Ernest Holmes said, I'm going to start with him because he's one of our great teachers, right? Down through the ages, many people have said this, and Ernest Holmes succinctly says it in this way. We should invite divine ideas to find entrance and expression through our consciousness, through our own consciousness. And so if we know what we know about ourselves expresses through the divine, through our consciousness. And so we are welcomed into every single day. We're welcomed into every single day, invited to know that it is an absolute perfect day, that we are the absolute perfect ones to do and be welcomed into whatever we would like to do. We are welcomed into every single day. The universe invites us to have a perfect day, to make our perfect choices, to allow to come through us exactly what we desire to do that every single day, whatever it is. As we wake up each day, the universe says, welcome. I'm glad you're here. That's all we need to know. And as we know and believe that, situations and events come about that cause that to happen. People will come about that invite us into that day, into their experience, and say, welcome, I'm glad you're here. Because of that belief that we have, as we know that more and more each day, as we remember that more and more each day, as we are reminded about that more and more each day, that is what comes into our experience. And so our life's work, and I don't know if I even like the word life's work, as the path that we are drawn toward is to remind ourselves of that truth every single day. The universe invites us, welcomes us each day to know the truth that we are one with Spirit. We are welcomed into the day. We are invited. We are welcome. We are here to live the truth of that divine idea every single day. And so on an even, I'm going to call it a larger level and a more life path level, we are invited every day to know the truth that we are indeed divine beings. And so that we are welcomed to unfold into that idea as well. Throughout our whole life, we are invited to know that we are indeed divine beings, that we are one with God. We are expressions of God in each and every moment. We are invited to know that the universe responds with yes to everything that we desire. The universe aligns with exactly what we believe to create in our lives. And it never stops. As we align with the truth that we are the perfection of God, we are welcomed into that belief easily and effortlessly, no matter what, because this is the truth. We are welcomed into knowing this more and more every single time we align with that perfection, it's always there. We are welcomed into that. We are welcomed into that in a greater and greater way each and every time. And so as we know this, we are invited in the human form to experience those expressions in our lives. People come into our lives, experiences come into our life. We are welcomed into those types of situations all the time. It can't help but happen because that is what we believe. And so the universe always says, you're welcome, you're invited, come in, it's here, it's now. There is no choice. And that is what we believe in Science of Mind and Spirit. That is what we are taught. That is what life teaches. Whatever teaching you come from, wherever it is, that is the truth. And so that is what I'm here to remind us all today. That is what I'm here to remember. That is what I'm here to say. That is what I'm here to offer, is that remembrance today, because that's what it is. That's what our life path is today, is to remember, to be reminded of. However that happens for you, whether it's my voice in this little talk, whether it's a book that you read, where it's an affirmation that you say in the morning, just to remember that you are welcomed wherever you are into this day, to know that you are that divine idea, that perfection that God is, that you are in each and every day. And so giving thanks for that, we'll just move into prayer right now to say that it is that perfection that is welcomed in each and every moment, to know that it is the love of God that is each one of us, expressing freely and fully, right here and right now. You are welcomed, I am welcomed, we are all welcomed, invited, fully, powerfully, strongly, to know these truths in our life spiritually, in our physical lives, to know that it is Spirit living its life through us in each and every day, in each and every way, powerfully, fully, freely, right here and right now. So giving thanks for all of this, I simply let it be, and so it is. Thank you.